You're watching NNN, or New Nintendo News. This is a gaming show where we keep you up to date with the latest Nintendo related gaming news. On today's show, arguably the greatest thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't the magnetic Joy-Cons. It's not even about the new USB camera. It's not even the fact that the screen has HDR support. It's not even the fact that the console can do 1080p 120 frames per second 4K output. The greatest thing about the Nintendo Switch 2 is Gamecube games! Yes, a few weeks ago, I mean it's old news now, but we've not spoken about it on this channel yet. Nintendo announced that they will be giving gamers the ability to play Nintendo Gamecube games on the Nintendo Switch 2 when you download the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. Right.
Nintendo Gamecube, originally released in 2001.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about, Nintendo Gamecube. I'm not gonna lie, I'm seriously on a level. I'm getting hot because Gamecube games are the one. The ability to play Gamecube games is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 only. If you've got a Nintendo Switch 1 and you've got a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, you ain't getting no access to it, fam. You gotta upgrade. Nintendo announced that you would be able to play Gamecube games on the Nintendo Switch 2 on launch day, June the 5th. Oh my god, I will probably play Gamecube games before I play Mario Kart. I'm not gonna lie, I probably will. I will play the Gamecube games before I play Mario Kart World. Actually, I don't know about that. But do you see my dilemma? Nintendo also announced that they will be releasing a GameCube controller, a wireless GameCube controller that you can use to play your GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch Online service. I'm gonna just say NSO from now on, because saying Nintendo Switch Online service, it's taking my breath away. I legit can't even breathe. I'm super excited to get my GameCube controller because I've got my N64 controller, I've got my SNES controller. I just need the NES one. But to be honest, I didn't want to pay, what was it, $44.99 for a NES controller? Absolutely not. So I didn't get that one. The GameCube controller has a built-in microphone, so you can still have access to Nintendo's game chat system. It's a bit more expensive. It's $58.99. I'm really struggling to pay for all these Nintendo merchandise, accessories, games. Like, it's a lot. But anyway, Nintendo announced that they would be launching free games on day one. On June 5th, you can go and play free GameCube games. Those GameCube games are Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and Zelda Wind Waker. Yeah, what a selection! Finally, we get a chance to play F-Zero GX.
Experience a world of white-knuckle racing at speeds over 2,000 kilometers per hour.
F-Zero GX, the greatest game in the entire F-Zero series. This game is absolutely incredible. It is also, however, hard as nails. This game is hard as oh my god. I never actually finished this game. The single player campaign is very, very, very hard. I'm very excited to play it again. I'm not even excited to play it again. No, I'm excited to play it again. But it used to infuriate. Oh my god, it used to infuriate me. I'm really hoping that enough people play this and Nintendo look at the metrics and they actually see that there is an appetite for the F-Zero franchise to make a return. Because we all want it to come back. But if I'm going to be honest, I am now happy with having F-Zero 99 available on the Nintendo Switch Online service and having F-Zero GX playable on Nintendo Switch Online. So if we don't get another F-Zero for like the longest time, I'm not actually really even that bothered anymore. The second game that we are getting on June the 5th on the NSO Gamecube, Soul Calibur. We're getting Soul Calibur 2! Oh my god, are you kidding?
Transcending history and the world. A tale of souls and swords eternally retold.
Now, when Soul Calibur 2 launched, originally, I can't remember when, each console had their own specific console exclusive character. On the PlayStation 2, you could play as Heihachi from Tekken series. Microsoft, they didn't have any characters that they could call their own, really, to be honest, so they got Spawn. They got Spawn from the comics. And Nintendo, we got Link from The Legend of Zelda. Link is in this fighting game. He controls absolutely amazing. He's got all his moveset from the games. He can pull out his bombs. He can pull out his bow and arrow. He can pull out his boomerang. To be honest, he's actually quite an annoying character. And the last game that Nintendo announced that we would be getting on the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online service is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, do you know what, right? Do you know what? I'm so conflicted. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker is a beautiful looking game. Arguably one of the best Zeldas in the whole entire series. Top 5 maybe. However, this game, when you get to a certain point, it just, it's a wrap. I just hate it. I've tried to play through this game 4 times. You do the typical 3 dungeons at the beginning, and then it gets to a point in the game where I can't remember what happens, but I think you collect the Triforce and it splits into like, I don't know, 50. It feels like it splits into 56 pieces, and you have to go across the map and you have to collect all these little bits of the Triforce and then bring them together. And exploring them seas on the boat, it's not fun. It's not fun. Now, a lot of people think just because Nintendo have released the Wind Waker on the Nintendo GameCube Online service that it means that we will never get that Wind Waker HD release that we've been asking for the past 5 years. But we might still get it. GameCube games are only available on the Nintendo Switch too, so there are 156 million Switch owners who potentially still want to play Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and the only way you'll do that if you don't upgrade to a Switch 2 is if Nintendo actually release Wind Waker HD on the Switch 1. So that must be coming. And then they'll release the Switch 2 edition of it, and their charge is $74.99.
GameCube.
So they are the 3 games that you can be playing on June 5th. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Why am I so excited about Nintendo GameCube games hitting the Nintendo Switch 2 system though, I hear you ask? Well, you might not even be asking, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Nintendo GameCube is my favourite console of all time. It's definitely... Yeah, what am I talking about? Why do we even have to think? Nintendo GameCube is like my favourite Nintendo console. Well, it's a tie between that and the SNES.
Now you're playing with power. Superpower.
Now, the Nintendo GameCube is not as enjoyable as the Wii or the DS. The creativity and the weirdness of the games that you got on the DS, the GameCube doesn't have any of that. Like those experiences that you had when you first played the Wii with like your grandma or your parents, the immersive gameplay, it doesn't have any of that. It's not as impactful as the Nintendo 64, you know, the analog stick, revolutionising platform genres and GoldenEye and, you know, multiplayer and playing with your friends. Like, the GameCube doesn't have any of that. The GameCube doesn't even have the legacy that the Game Boy or the NES does. The NES single-handedly revitalised the whole entire gaming market after the crash in the 1980s. Game Boy dominated handheld gaming space. It was a name that was known far and wide. Do you know what I mean? I could go to some random tribe in the middle of the Amazonian rainforest and didn't know what a Game Boy was. Do you know what I mean? But the GameCube doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have that legacy. It doesn't have that lasting impact. So why am I so excited for these games to be hitting the Nintendo Switch 2 NSO? Before the Switch came along, the Nintendo GameCube was home to the most well-rounded games library that Nintendo have ever had. Like, Nintendo actually utilized their IP. Nintendo literally was using every single one of their characters. No, everybody got their time in the spotlight. We got Star Fox games, 2 in fact. We got Donkey Kong. He had games in abundance. We had loads of Zeldas, Metroid, Wario. And then on top of that, Nintendo, while giving us these classic franchises and IP that we know and love, Nintendo also still experimented. We also got games like Pikmin, and we got Animal Crossing. But I know Animal Crossing came out on the Nintendo 64, but you know, Animal Crossing on the GameCube was kind of really like the birth of the franchise if you were born in the West. And we also got games like Chibi Robo. Like, Nintendo was experimenting, and Nintendo weren't afraid to shake things up either. Why you little? Super Mario Sunshine totally took the game out of the Mushroom Kingdom, gave us something new, gave us new mechanics. They absolutely switched the game up with Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Everybody at that time just wanted something that looked super realistic. That's not what Nintendo gave us. And let's not forget Metroid. Metroid went missing during the Nintendo 64 generation. She finally came back. Samus came back and gave us the Metroid Prime series. Mario Kart Double Dash! I forgot about Mario Kart Double Dash! Mario Kart Double Dash giving us 2 players, multiple... Oh my god. Anyway, you get the point. The GameCube games library is very good.
GameCube.
On top of that, we also got third-party support. So yeah, we got FIFA, we got Madden, we got NBA basketball, we got Call of Duties, we got Splinter Cells, we got loads of third-party support. We got exclusive games from Capcom. We got the Capcom 5. Capcom said, we love you so much, we are going to give you 5 exclusive games. We had exclusive games from Sega, Namco. It was going off. It was going off. But nobody talks about the GameCube. Nobody talks about the GameCube because these games have been locked on the system. The Nintendo GameCube is the only system where the games are not accessible to play. I mean, to be honest, we have had ways to play these GameCube games. For example, we got a remake of The Wind Waker HD. We also got the ability to play Super Mario Sunshine. We also got the ability to play Twilight Princess in HD. Nintendo also gave us Pikmin 1 and 2 at some point, and the other day we only just got a remake of Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. But there are so many hidden gems, so many cult classics, so many absolutely incredible games on the GameCube that those 5 games that I've just mentioned don't even scratch the surface. We have seen nothing yet of the GameCube's library. Nothing. But what other games could Nintendo release on the Nintendo Switch Online service? What other GameCube games could we be getting? Now, Nintendo will also give us a little rundown of the games that will be coming soon. The list of games are, I just have to look at the screen. Nintendo have already confirmed that we will be getting Super Mario Sunshine. Wahoo! We will be getting Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Now, I don't like Fire Emblem games. I don't. So I'm not bothered. And Nintendo said that we will get Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and Pokemon Coliseum. Now I'm super excited to play these games because they are just the open world Pokemon game that I always wanted before Pokemon Company gave us Pokemon Arceus and Scarlet and Violet. Nintendo also announced that we will be getting Chibi Robo. Now I always call out Chibi Robo because it's a weird game. It's weird. I never played it because I never actually wanted to spend my money on a game that looks so weird. But I will play this and I will give it a go. The series did well enough that it got sequels on the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. So people clearly like Chibi Robo. So I'd like to play this. And we also... Oh, Luigi's Mansion! Yes! 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 Now, Luigi's Mansion 1 is my favourite Luigi's Mansion, and every single time they release a new Luigi's Mansion, they kind of change the gameplay formula, they tinker with it a bit, and it moves ever so further than what the original Luigi's Mansion was. I can play it again. I'm super excited. That's all you need to know. And Super Mario Strikers. Ooh, that's Super Mario Strikers now. Super Mario Strikers for me is very good. But the reason why I love Mario Strikers is because it was on the GameCube. The console is powerful as the graphics are amazing. Like, the animation was just animating. Like, they look absolutely sick, but they look super aggressive. They would like barge people into poles, they'd be kicking people. The Happy Mario, the Happy Peach, the Joyous Toad that we've grown to know and love, those characters had disappeared. What we now got was just these aggressive, moody, angry Nintendo characters. It was great. They were very, very violent and aggressive. Yeah. I like Mario Strikers. I got a lot of time for it. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to quickly I mean, this news is old. We all knew GameCube games were coming, but I wanted to talk about them because I just love the GameCube. I just love it. But what I want to do very quickly is, I don't even know if we've got time in this video. Is it going to be a part 2 vibe? I don't know. Maybe.